Hello, and you are listening to Week 15 of Oneness Project Light One-on-One with Israel Kelly. I'm your host, Cassandra. For those of you that are new, welcome, and thank you for joining us. Our purpose for each episode is to enhance your understanding of life, the universe, and the world around us by exploring a specific topic more in depth through the eyes of Source. As many of you know, Israel Kelly is fully coalesced with Source energy and has been granted with universal knowing. He is here to bring messages of love to humanity and to facilitate all of us with the expansion of our consciousness. In last week's episode, Israel Kelly shared his divine knowledge on the subject of channeling and coalescing. Tonight, we will talk about past lives. And here's Israel Kelly now. Hello, Israel.
Thanks, Cassandra. It's so nice to be back.
The pleasure is mine, Israel. Thank you for being here. Before we begin, there is one question I forgot to ask you last week about channeling and coalescing. Can you tell us what is the difference between channeling and coalescing?
I am glad you're asking me that so we can clarify that topic. Difference about in between channeling and coalescing, there's no difference. It's all part of all there is. It's all part of source energy. It's a way, it's an interpretation of energy that going through us. It's who we are. It's a way to communicate. So there's no difference in between being coalesce or channel. It's just human experience. It's a way. It's an interpretation of that. A larger part of us is communicating through us, which is who we are. There's no difference in between the two of them.
Thank you, Israel. And just to add to Israel's response, it's important to know that channeling and coalescing are both forms of connection with Source. And as we are able to understand more complex topics about our present reality, more of us will begin to feel more comfortable with the state of coalescing, as it is the state of perpetual communion with our higher self, or Source, and it remains with us permanently, whereas channeling, one must call one's higher self to communicate, and it can last a few minutes to several hours. So this is one way to differentiate them.
Very good, Cassandra. That is correct.
Thank you, Israel. Moving on now to our topic for this evening. Many people believe that we have lived many past lives, and there are many who also don't believe in it. Can you tell us, Israel, everyone who is living on planet Earth now, have we all incarnated the same amount of times?
Yeah, the answer to that is yes. But before we understand that answer, we need to accept that we are all one. That we are one, and we have a human experience. We're just an extension of that experience. We're just attached to a clump of energy while in physical form, and we are one.
Okay, thank you, Israel. Do we incarnate with the same group of souls again and again? And if so, why do we incarnate with the same group of souls?
Energy doesn't have a classification, and is all there is. So, drop of rains on a rain day, they're the water coming down from the clouds. They all part of one thing. They all part of the rain. They are water, like water from the ocean. Drops of water from the ocean. They are part of the whole. They are part of one thing. There's no difference in between one drop and the next one. So, soul classification, there's no such a thing. It's all source energy. It's all that divine, eternal, infinite energy that we are. And there's no classification. This is not classification in the way that we are able to understand while in physical form. Will be a lot of things that will be very difficult to understand and they're very difficult to explain in human words because we don't have those words. We don't have a way to communicate that existence while in a non-physical form. Many people try to explain humans in a way that is comprehensible, that it makes sense to them. However, indeed, there's not separation, there's not difference in between energies and so on. It's all part of all there is.
Interesting. How many past lives have you experienced here on Earth, Israel?
How many past life? All of them. All of them. From the beginning. All of us we are energy. All of us we are from the beginning, from the expansion of that source energy. From the time the prime creator, a way to explain, not the way, but a way to explain while in physical form. From that time the prime creator thought that he wants to experience, and he divided his energy, a way to say it too, one of physical form. Most of the concept that can be explained about spirituality, how things work in different realms, is very difficult to verbalize in human language because we have a concept about things that we learn from movies, that we learn from books, that we learn from human interpretation. That is not exactly the way things are. However, it's close to it. How many lives was spirit on Earth? All of them. We are one unit having different experiences, like light bulbs in a Christmas decoration. I mean, all the light bulbs are attached to the extension cord that gives life to these light bulbs. So they having one single energy going through them. We are one single um, essence of life, aspect of divinity, having different experience in many different realms and what we call the past, present, and future, which is a mental construction as well. And the deeper we try to understand those things, the more confused we're going to get. Because while on physical form, we don't have the mental capacity or the words that can be used to explain many things, because things in other realms that work differently from the way they work on Earth.
I like how you answered all of them instead of actually giving me an actual number. that was that was cute. Okay. Now, have all your incarnations all been in human form? And if not, what other forms have you incarnated in?
We are one, all of us, you and I. We incarnated in many different forms, in many different realities, not only here, not only as humans, but we are simultaneously here and there. We everywhere. We have in our mental construction on the separation of thinkings that we are unique and we are the only one. However, as we have this conversation, we are right now being in many other places at the same time. We are multidimensional, all of us. Only the ones, those that realize that they're able to see it like that. You can, and everybody else can see it the same way that I see it. You only have to remove limitations and you'll be there. It's very simple. So our incarnations, as not only as humans, but as any expression that creates experience. We being there, we actually are, as we have in this conversation, we are in many other places at the same time, having different experiences, not only as humans, but as many other expressions of life, for the purpose of having an experience, a different experience.
I've noticed, and I know our listeners have probably noticed this too, that every time I try to get you to give me specific details of things, you always answer me back with general answers. But I guess that's just how Source works. Moving on to question 6. Is it important for us to connect with our past life to correct a present condition we may be experiencing in this present lifetime?
Other realities, or that you call your past life or your past existence, which is happening now in a different frequency, in a different realm, in a different reality, doesn't have any reference in your present life. I mean, how you were everything, you are everything at once. How being a soldier from Germany or um, a performance works in a theater, or somebody who has a family that dies in a catastrophe, or you being in the Titanic, or you being one of Jesus Christ's followers, and one of the monk in the Buddha palace, and so on. What, how that experience in another realm, another reality, as is happening now, how that's going to serve you right now? I mean, how can you, any assistance, any previous assistance, if you want to still call it, and reference of time, will serve you in your present time in this conversation in the next half an hour. So it doesn't have any relevance. Every experience is different, and every experience exists because it's part of that experience, a human experience, and it doesn't have any relevance when your present time right now. Um, but it's part of the experience. If you want to believe that it has any relevance to you and that you need to go back and by hypnosis or anything like that, and you feel and you think that that will help you, then that is part of your reality, and that's what you're supposed to do. If you understand that it doesn't have any relevance and it doesn't influence to your actual life in this realm and this reality as we have in this conversation, so it won't serve you.
Okay, sort of along the same lines as that question. Now, the experiences that we learn from our past lives, is it carried forward onto our next life? Meaning, once we experience something, we will tend to gravitate towards it in our next life? For example, if I was a musician in my past life, would I expand on that experience by being a musician again in my next life and doing more with it?
Your past life experience or third party experience that is not directly affecting your actual experience. So it's not actually related to what you're living in this moment of now. So whatever is happening as a third party assistance, as a third party reality, it's not affecting your actual experience. So by you bringing something that you are just a spectator of, it's not going to change your present experience, your actual life, and this term. So it doesn't affect. The answer is doesn't affect or change anything whatsoever.
Okay, thank you, Israel. Now, what methods would you recommend for those who are interested in learning more about their past lives?
If someone is interested about that topic about past life and so on, there's many professionals out there that they know how to regress you to a past time. They're able to connect to your subconscious mind by relaxing your mind, by removing that resistance, and you're able to go back to past life through hypnosis. I used to like myself, Dr. Brian Weiss. I like it a lot. His work and the way he does and explain this whole thing about past life is very good. He has so many good books about it, and there's many people that they practice hypnosis and they're able to, as you relax your mind, you're able to connect to your subconscious mind, and your memories are all there.
That's great, Israel. Thank you for those recommendations. Now, since we know that time does not exist, are all our past lives happening now simultaneously in a different dimension as we speak?
Exactly. Everything is happening now. Everything is happening now as we have in this conversation. In a different reality, um, we are part of it as a third party, but everything is happening now. Yeah, that's correct.
Wow, that's really incredible to know that everything is happening now as we speak, simultaneously in other realities. With that said, why is our present life more dominant than our past lives?
Your actual life and this reality, you, as you are having this conversation with me, is more dominant because you're focused on this. And that's what you're supposed to be focused on this present life. How any other reality is going to serve you? How any other reality is going to help you being joyful and be more happy in this life and this assistance in this realm? There's no way it could. So that's why this present life is more dominant for you and for everybody else because that's the way it's supposed to be, and this is where you are. You're here and now.
Thank you, Israel. That makes sense. Now, my final question for you is, you're currently working on your first novel, which you hope to finish soon. Would you like to share with our listeners what your novel is about?
Yes, my first book is going to be about my past life. It's going to be called My Master Sandals. And it's not about my life, it's about everybody else's systems because we are one. So as we touch a few of those lives and recount and remember and go through my subconscious mind to remember all that, those events that they're happening now, I'll be able to, refresh that memory, have something to talk. We can have something to discuss and talk about. It's going to be a very nice reading. I we go over not all of them, at least five or six of those memories. Which one I was a German soldier, and I was a doctor in another life, and I was an Italian guy from a long time ago, and other. I was with Moses, the one on the historical books, and I was one of the Buddha's followers. And there's a very will be a very interesting reading. A lot of things we gonna remember and learn from that first book, and will be very interesting. And it will take time. It will take time. I'm still working on it because I'm concentrated more in the present. Concentrated more now in this passion, helping people to have a joyful and happy life. And I decided a long time ago that I want to write about that, about my previous lives that are happening now, and that I'm able to plug into that reality as a third party and remember things. And anybody else could be is able to do the same. We are one, and we are source energy. And by releasing your restrictions and limitations and resistance, you anybody is able will be able to quiet their mind and remember many things, or hook into that different reality that is plugged into their subconscious mind and be able to see any past lives.
That's wonderful, Israel. I'm really looking forward to the release of your first book, My Master's Sandals. Now, before we say goodbye, do you have any final thoughts you would like to share with us?
Of course, Cassandra, this has been a very good conversation about past life. Final thoughts. Let's live in the now. Let's enjoy this opportunity. This is the way we can call this. This is an opportunity to be in a physical form, and now to have joy, to reinvent ourselves, to remember who we are, which is a known physical energy now occupying physicality for the purpose of having a new experience. Let's practice unconditional love. Let's love each other. Let's be joyful. Let's be grateful. Being grateful is the most important thing that we can apply while in physical form, non physical form. Gratefulness, being grateful about things, about life itself, about that opportunity to be alive, and being able to create a new reality. Right now, planet Earth is a blessing. It's the most beautiful thing that we experience while in this physical form. Final thoughts. Let's be in the now. Let's let's be present. Let's be joyful. Let's enjoy life. Let's become happier. Happiness is just the path of life. It's not a destination. But appreciating who we are, and by remembering who we are and what we're here to have fun. We're here to create. Let's create and have fun. Let's live in the now, and let's be happy. Let's be humans. Let's try to appreciate our surroundings, family, things, conditions, and even the contrast that allows humans to appreciate the opportunity to be here.
That's wonderful advice, Israel. It is important that we keep our main focus in the present moment of now, and many seers and sages would agree as well. Thank you so much for expanding our awareness on the subject of past lives. I, along with thousands of others who are listening to this, have learned a lot this evening. Thank you for your love and your light. You are a beautiful source of inspiration and knowledge for all of us, and we are truly grateful to have you here to remind us who we are. Until next time, this is Cassandra for Oneness Project Light One-on-One with Israel Kelly. Thanks for listening.